Thanks, Deb. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regular board meeting of the Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority of May 27th, 2022. The board did meet in executive session. Prior to this meeting, no votes were taken. Only matters of personnel and legal matters were discussed. So, Deb, let's have the roll call.
Sure. Ms. McCormick Barron. Here. Ms. Cristello. Mr. Domock.
Here.
Ms. Lieber.
Here.
Dr. Morell.
Here.
Mr. Schuley.
Here.
Ms. Strasburger.
Here.
Mr. Thomas.
Here.
7 members of the board are present.
Okay, very good. Do we have any members of the public that would like to come before the board today?
We have no registered comments for today.
All right, very good. First action is the approval of the meeting minutes of April 22nd, 2022. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Audrey Morell.
Thank you.
Second, Peg McCormick Barron.
Thank you, Peg. Any discussion? All in favor of the meeting minutes of April 22nd, 2022, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the meeting minutes are approved. Let's move to reports and updates. We'll start with the Finance Department.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, members of the PWSA board. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kevin Paulus. I am the Deputy Director of the Finance Department. Mr. Barca is out today, so I will be giving the finance report to the board. Included in your board packet is the finance report through April 30th, 2022. Within the finance report, you will see that year-to-date receipts are up 17.7%, or approximately $9.2 million. This strong performance through the first 4 months of the year is a result of the rate increase that went into effect at the beginning of the year, as well as the collection of the new stormwater fee. In addition, our cash balance remains at an all-time high, and our capital expenses have remained steady with approximately $21.5 million being spent year to date. The recent funding awards from Penvest and the City of Pittsburgh via the American Rescue Plan will accelerate our capital expenses as those projects begin construction in the coming months. The authority kicked off its capital budget planning process on May 9th to develop the 2023 through 2027 capital improvement plan. The plan will build upon PWSA's historic level of investment in recent years. This plan will be presented to the PWSA board for approval during the September board meeting. The Finance Department also plans on kicking off the operating budget planning process in mid-June, and that plan will be presented to the PWSA board for approval during the December board meeting. It is at this time I will turn it back over to the board and answer any questions that they may have.
Are there any questions for Mr. Paulus? Kevin, we haven't had the pleasure of meeting in person, but I've heard a lot of good things about you. Welcome to PWSA. Happy to have you.
Thank you very much.
All right, if there aren't any other questions, we'll move to the Engineering Department. Barry?
Good morning, Chair Schuley and members of our board. I will start with a review of our drinking water programs. All 3 of the 2022 lead service line replacement projects, including the priority, the neighborhood, and urgent projects, are fully underway. To date, our contractors have completed 65 public and 80 private side lead service line replacements. The small diameter water main replacement project, identified as the 2021, continues with the replacement of 14,650 linear feet of waterline pipe, which is about 44% of the total project. And they have completed 41 public side and 38 private side lead service line replacements out of the total 148 public side lines that have been replaced, service lines. Work is nearing the completion on the current phase of the waterline replacement for the city's BRT project, where PWSA has replaced 17,150 linear feet of waterline and 200 public side service line replacements, of which 27 public side and 18 private side lead service lines were also replaced. So next, staff has scheduled inspections with the PADP next week in support of applications for operating permits for recently completed projects, including the Brecken backup pumping system, otherwise known as the Godwin dry prime standby pumps, as well as the corrosion control chemical storage facility improvements, which we've identified as the orthophosphate totes to tank projects at the Aspinwall and Brecken pump stations. Progress continues to be made with PWSA's water reliability plan projects. Currently, the construction of Rising Main 3 rehabilitation and replacement, as well as the Highland 2 reservoir liner and cover replacement projects continue on schedule in Highland Park. On Thursday, May 12th and 19th, many of the essential stakeholders for the water reliability plan projects participated in 2 days of risk assessment workshops here at 1200 Penn Avenue. These meetings were well attended and provided a meaningful exchange of project updates, discussions, and deliberations on many of the key overlapping interactions between these projects, as well as the proposed outages that will be necessary to facilitate construction of these remaining water reliability plan projects. With regards to the sewer programs, a significant amount of construction is now underway with the 2021 small diameter sewer rehabilitation replacement contracts 1 and 3, both having started in March and April and are moving along well. The 2020 small diameter sewer reconstruction contract 2 has recently begun construction. Work is currently underway on Fuchsia Way, Rising Main Avenue, and Center Avenue. And as a good example of the ongoing successful collaboration between Alcosan and PWSA, the M29 flap gate was installed on Tuesday, April 26, 2022, marking the substantial completion for that project. I will now turn it back over to the board for any questions you may have.
Any questions or comments for Mr. King? Barry, I just want to comment. I participated in a good portion of the risk workshops for the water reliability plan. I thought they were very good meetings. I thought the participation was good. Still a lot of challenges ahead, as you well know, but I'm glad that we had the appropriate people in the room and there was a good exchange. So good work.
Thank you.
All right, let's move to the Chief Environmental Compliance and Ethics Officer report. Mr. Sideri.
Yes, good morning, members of the board. I first wanted to just start off with a little bit of information about yesterday. As you're likely aware, in the afternoon, there was a train derailment into the river up near Harmer. The location of that accident was approximately 5 miles upstream from our Aspinwall water treatment plant. Staff here carefully monitored the event and prepared to take action to protect the drinking water supply if it was needed. Thankfully, at this time, PWSA has not detected or been made aware of any contamination concerns. As always, the operators here and laboratory staff at the plant continue to monitor the river water as well as our treatment process to help assure drinking water quality. So just a brief update on that event there. In regards to environmental compliance and ethics, I'm happy to report that our compliance and ethics programs continue to grow. As I reported to you in my quarterly report that was submitted at the beginning of this month. This month, we also completed staffing of our environmental compliance department. So the group is fully built out, and we continue to work day to day supporting our operations and engineering groups with environmental compliance efforts associated with drinking water, wastewater, stormwater, air, waste management, and other areas. A key project that we started this month was the CCTV inspection and mapping of the stormwater systems in city parks that are larger than 50 acres in size. This was a project that the board approved last month. This project is going to provide important information on the infrastructure in these parks that was previously uncertain and unmapped. And these efforts are in support of our joint MS4 permit with the city. This month, I'll be recommending another important environmental compliance project for your approval today. The Environmental Management Information System is a software platform that'll help PWSA facilitate efficient data capture, task management, auditing, and reporting of our environmental compliance, as well as health and safety programs. This system is going to replace current practices, which rely on paper forms and spreadsheets and shared folders for data management. Implementation of this system is also going to address recommendations from our auditors and monitors as we continue to move forward with them. Our environmental compliance team really looks forward to rolling out this environmental management information system platform to help support some of the day-to-day activities that we're working on. In conclusion here today, I just wanted to take a brief moment also to acknowledge our Senior Manager of Safety and Security, Casey Stewart. As you're aware, safety is one of PWSA's core values alongside ethics and integrity, and is also part of our administrative agreement, which addresses environmental compliance, ethics, and safety. Mr. Stewart just completed a set of safety management training sessions for PWSA managers, and I really felt the training that he provided had some excellent insight and information for our managers, which they'll be able to apply for both safety and compliance as leaders within their respective department. So thank you to Mr. Casey for providing that training. As always, the board, our PWSA staff, our consultants and contractors can always contact me if there's any environmental compliance or ethics concerns or questions. And with that, I'll thank you for your time this morning.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Saderi? Well, Frank, thank you again, you and staff, for going out and making sure that the spill from the train wreck did not impact the plant. And all of these actions are working behind the scenes to keep our water safe. We appreciate you and your team, operators at the plant and others, for really being on the alert to ensure that the water quality will continue. So thank you again. All right, let's move to the Chief Executive Officer's report. Mr. Pickering.
Thank you, Chair Shuley, and good morning, members of the board, members of the public tuning in. Barry, in his report, did touch on what we're calling our Fuchsia Way sewer reconstruction project, which members of the board may remember about a year ago, residents coming to a board meeting and speaking to you all about repeated sewer issues that they were experiencing at their homes on Race and Monticello streets in Homewood. So that is the sewer itself is actually located in an alley named Fuchsia Way, and that sewer line is one that we are going to reconstruct. To further complicate matters, there is a water main above the sewer line that we are replacing, and some of that water main is tied into lead service lines. So we are working with residents to upgrade their water main, replace any lead service lines if they are there, as well as getting their agreement to make improvements to what we call the sewer lateral. For the portion that's in public space, we're going to go ahead and make those repairs since it was evident through our engagement with the community that a lot of these properties needed help on replacing that sewer lateral. So this is a project I'm particularly proud of. We listened to residents, engaged with them. We're continuing to engage with them, knocking on doors to make sure that we have those agreements in hand signed by the property owners that will allow us to do this work. So very happy that that work got underway within the last week. In terms of, in my normal performance metric highlight, I'm going to slightly mix it up this week, and we'll want to call your attention to the 2021 Supplier Diversity Program Annual Report. It's available on our website. In it, you'll find that last year we spent nearly $31.5 million with MWDBE vendors, and that makes up 18% of our total spend last year. That exceeds our goal, which is currently 10 to 15%. And our team used a model to go back and see how much economic output that investment supplies the region, and that number is $53.8 million. So a very large investment in those vendors that qualify under our Supplier Diversity Program. The annual report is very reader-friendly. It's the two-pager, and I want to commend our board members, Audrey Morell and Mark Thomas for urging staff to put together the report that we will be promoting and engaging our stakeholders to let them know about the investments that we are making and the impact that it has on the larger economy and the community. So it is on our website. Be on the lookout for some expected media coverage on that, but a kudos to our Supplier Diversity Committee board members for having us put that together. I did also briefly want to highlight a couple weeks ago for members of the public that might have missed it. There was a large story in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette about our water reliability plan. It was a very comprehensive article that went over the different components of the system that we will be renewing to the tune of approximately $470 million. I thought it was a great story, and hopefully it is one of more to come as we begin to roll out these projects, several of which Barry alluded to are already underway. In addition, earlier this week, there was a radio story on WESA related to our lead service line replacement program, and one that I am particularly proud of because I think it reflected the progress that we have made over time and our openness to the public when communicating about our lead issues and specifically our lead line replacement program. And the policies that we have in place now reflect a commitment from our board of directors to do the right thing when it comes to lead service line replacement, even though sometimes it's a little more complicated and labor intensive. So please do check those out if you have not already. It was very heartening to know that the media is interested in things outside of main breaks. So I'm feeling much better, and I know that won't necessarily go away, the interest in main breaks, that is, but we're going to embrace these good stories as they come. I'm going to shift over to our excellence awards. This is my highlight of the quarter, to be able to talk about employees that are going over and beyond within PWSA, often individuals that our board may not necessarily know or hear about. First up, we have Rebecca Copney, who is a PGH2O Cares analyst. And according to her managers, Rebecca is amazing at being able to shift focus and reorganize. She is willing to absorb new information and take on increasing responsibility. She carves out time each day to assist the contact center, which is not part of her normal duties, but has been important as we have been down staff in recent history. When the CARES team that she's on lost an analyst in February, she became the primary point of contact for all of the customer calls and emails directed to her team. And while she was carrying that load, she also sent letters and emails to vulnerable customers who needed to recertify in our bill discount programs. The CARES team is really the clearinghouse for the intake and the outreach for our customer assistance programs. And Rebecca somehow managed to still find time to make unsolicited cold calls to our customers to ensure that we're continuing to bring in new participants to our customer assistance programs, which is so important. So not just taking those calls, but making outgoing calls, which is something that I really love about the CARES team. She held it all together so that management team could focus on filling those vacancies and presenting to external groups. So we are very lucky to have Rebecca on our team. Congratulations on your recognition today, and hopefully in the near future, I'll get to congratulate you in person, Rebecca. Nice work. Shifting gears to another section of our customer service department, Zachary Larimer is being recognized today. He is a PUC Compliance Analyst. He was hired in July of 2020, obviously during the height of the pandemic and fully remote work. He brought his skills from the financial compliance industry to augment our PUC complaint process at PWSA. And throughout his time, he has exceeded the manager's expectations, and he is an excellent team player. He has enhanced the customer service experience by thoroughly drafting utility reports that address customers' concerns that come out through the dispute process. And he has also identified opportunities for us to improve through coaching and training. He played a key role in our ability to collect revenue for non-registering meters, which is something that we obviously want to minimize. And he works closely with customers to take a look at their usage data and help factor in fluctuations either from residency or vacancy to help explain why they may be seeing what they're seeing on their bill. The fruits of Zachary's projects are upgraded water meters, accurate hourly meter readings to assist customers with leaks, and it helped them identify whether they do have a leak in their property, and then just making sure that we have consistent monthly bills, which our customers expect and deserve. So we're very proud to have Zachary on our team, and I want to thank him for helping us maintain compliance and be responsive to our customers. So congratulations, Zachary, on being recognized this month. Last but not least, we are shifting over to the finance department, and I am very pleased to recognize Juan Irmas. He is our project systems coordinator. Juan has been a prime cornerstone of the eBuilder system, which is our system of record for project management and all of the financial transactions related to project management. Not only has he been able to support PWSA's users in that system, but he also has to support the consultants that work within it, external parties such as the city of Pittsburgh, government entities, and he has to do that on a daily basis. So he is the heart of the help desk, we'll say, for eBuilder. But he does much more than that. He assists with internal requests to modify processes. For instance, the resolutions that come before the board, he works closely with Deb Gibson on those, and we have improved greatly since we have brought him onto the team to solve those issues. He's an excellent problem solver, provides solutions when presented with a challenge, which is something we all appreciate about Juan. And along with those skills, he's able to do analysis of the data. So he's able to pull out reports from that eBuilder system and make them usable for executive leadership, me specifically, to be able to look at data coming out of eBuilder and make it applicable to management decisions. In addition to all of that, he's working closely on our transition to SAP and all of those interactions that the new system will have with eBuilder. I met Juan, I think he was at maybe even here before I started at PWSA. He was an embedded consultant. I'm very happy that we have Juan as a full-time employee and have for some time. We're very lucky to have him, and congratulations, Juan, on your recognition today. So with that will wrap up my remarks. I'm happy to answer any questions from the board. I hope everyone has a happy Memorial Day holiday.
Will, I just wanted to make a comment in regards to the metrics that you sent to us and the good work of Rebecca and Zachary. The customer call center numbers are very impressive. And I ran the call center at the Port Authority, so have a good sense of what goes behind those numbers. And I mean, for many people, that's the only connection that they have with PWSA. So I just want to commend you and the team for a commitment to the customers.
Thank you, BJ. I will pass that along. 99.9% of the time, Julie Quigley is tuning into these calls, but she is out today because she's getting married tomorrow. So that will be a wedding gift. I'll pass along the positive feedback from her and her team. Thank you for that.
But not at the reception.
No, I'll give her some time.
Okay.
I wanted to really acknowledge and echo what you said about the staff bringing together that economic impact report, as well as coming up with that dashboard to be able to measure the impact on NWDBE contracts and spend. They really have been responsive to all the feedback and suggestions Mark and I have had. And that report is only part of an overall plan to be able to look at continual improvement, to be able to increase the impact and the inclusion that we have in PWSA for contracts. And so really do want to acknowledge the staff under your leadership, Will, and making sure that they stay on top of it and embrace it and studying best practice and working toward continuous improvement. So congratulations for that.
Thank you. And thanks again for your engagement on those topics.
Any other questions or comments for Will? I think I couldn't have said it better for what Audrey just said. I think it's great that the numbers reflect the leadership that Audrey and Mark have provided, but staff has also stepped up big time in response. So congrats on that. But I also want to kind of touch on the fact that, you know, you and Barry both talked about Fuchsia Way, and sometimes when people are listening and we have public comment and people give their comment within their 3 minutes, and then whether they expect a response or not, you know, our protocols are just to listen, but we do more than listen, and we take some action. And so it's very heartening that we paid attention to when people came to the board. We looked at the situation, made the right call, doing the right thing, and people will benefit. And I think that's what the authority's role should be. So congrats to everyone, and also congrats to all of the Excellence Award winners. Very, very impressive. All right, well, let's move to resolutions. We'll start with resolution number 75. Mr. Carmichael.
Morning, everybody. Resolution 75 is approving revisions to the PWSA employee domicile policy, which will be expanded to encompass all of Allegheny County. Upon approval of the board, the revisions will be messaged and effective for all of our non-union employees, and then will be presented to our PJCVC and AFSCME employees. Staff recommends approval of this resolution to the domicile policy.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So moved, Audrey Morel.
Thank you, Audrey. Is there a second?
Second,
Erica
BJ Weber.
Strasburger.
Okay, I think it was a tie there. We got it. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor of resolution number 75, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution 75 is approved. Resolution number 76, Mr. Sederi.
Yes, good morning again. Resolution number 76 is approving the award of a software agreement of the operating budget for an environmental management information systems with NJB Soft LLC. The operating budget is $455,305, and this is for a 5-year contract.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Mark Thomas.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a second?
Second, Peg McCormick Barron.
Thanks, Peg. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of resolution number 76, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution number 76 is approved. We move to resolution number 77. Mr. King.
Very good. Resolution 77 is a request for the board's approval to award a capital contract for construction of the Highland Reservoir Pump Station Supply and Rising Main project to W.A. Petrakis Contracting, LLC, in the amount of $14,215,274. As background, this project is another important piece of our WRP plan and involves the replacement and new installation of water main piping around the Highland Reservoir number 2 with the supply to the proposed Highland Pump Station, which will renew the supply connection to the Garfield water storage tank and will install a new rising main to connect the Highland 2 and Highland 1 pressure districts for additional distribution system redundancy and reliability. This project also includes modifications and additions to portions of the sewer systems within the project area. Staff recommends the board approve this award.
Thank you, Barry. May I have a motion?
BJ, motion to approve.
Thanks, BJ. Is there a second?
Second, Erica Strasburger.
Thank you, Erica. Any discussion? Well, Barry, this is a significant project as part of the overall water reliability plan. And we have some, I think, fairly good experience with this particular contractor. You're confident that we have all our ducks aligned for this important project. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, very good. All those in favor of resolution number 77, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution 77 is approved. Resolution 78, Barry.
Resolution 78 is a request for the board's approval of a change order of the capital contract for the construction of the BRT Water Distribution Improvements Project to A. Polino Construction in the amount of $2,545,190.61. As background, the BRT project has incurred additional costs largely due to unforeseen differing site conditions with the congested right-of-way and necessary owner-directed changes associated with additional requirements for traffic control given the location on Fifth Avenue. Staff recommends that the board approve this award.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Mark Thomas.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a second?
Second, Erica Strasberger.
Thanks, Erica. Any discussion?
I guess I have a question about the extent of the replacements that are happening, given the unforeseen challenges and unforeseen conditions underground. I'd like to understand whether we then are given the opportunity as PWSA to ensure as best as possible that it's not just kind of a patchwork approach to the underground infrastructure as far as PWSA can control it, but really, even in coordination with other utilities, that this is going to almost guarantee us a long-standing 50-year sort of state of, our underground infrastructure in this area being in good repair, because this is such a huge project with such a great amount of disruption to the neighborhood, and all for a good cause. But I hope that we're taking every opportunity to really make sure it's done right, and not just our own infrastructure, but in coordination with other utilities, so that we're not seeing, this part of town being dug up again in 10 years, or the need for repairs, that this is really setting us, this neighborhood up for a good, solid amount of time without any disruption.
Yes, very good points made. And so there is a whole subject matter that probably at some point will need to occur with the way that the city currently effectuates the role of manager of the right-of-way, specifically DOMI with the various utilities. That being said, we have done extensive interactions with the major utilities that are concurrent within the right-of-way with us. Natural gas, Duquesne Light for their powered, the electrical duct banks. There's extreme effort that went into the ability to be able to route through and around a lot of these congested areas. We're comfortable saying that our infrastructure is renewed to the level that the city specifically stipulated for the BRT corridor. And so we feel that the investment ultimately will provide that longevity that we need. It has been a painful measure for the contractors and the construction staff that are in the field, trying to ensure that what was designed ultimately comes to fruition with what was constructed. And it's definitely been plenty of challenges of occasionally having to route through significantly dense occupied areas where the other utilities are also trying to renew their infrastructure at the same time. So a lot of lessons learned.
Thank you. That's helpful to hear.
Any other questions or comments for Barry on this resolution?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Mike.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm going to channel Jim Turner here and just make a comment, not ask a question. This is the second change order in 3 months due to unforeseen ground conditions with this contractor. So how can we foresee ground conditions better in the future?
So that is something that we are addressing and trying to better ensure that we're proactively understanding that the records that we are being given and the marks that are being made by the various utilities out within the corridor, that the vetting of that information needs an intensity and, where possible, more current technologies, SUE and other type of exploratory technologies to be able to identify. This was definitely a challenge for this site, just given the location in downtown, the major conflicts for all of the interactions in the roadway, and then all the existing utilities, historic, some of it significant abandoned utilities, as well as what the current utilities are. So it really just does provide a real challenge, but we get absolutely what you're saying, Mike, and moving forward, we're definitely trying to account for this while being reasonable, because there's kind of a cost balance that hits somewhere. If you were to do accurate plans to the T that could be relied upon, ultimately for this one, you would have to dig up the entire corridor largely to be able to achieve that. So there is some balance or break-even point that we have to find, but we're taking that into consideration for future work.
Yeah, I agree with that. It'd be good if some of this could sort of feedback more into the pre-bid process, because their resolution 23, March 21, 2021, their bid was about 800K, smallest amongst all the others. So just in terms of getting these jobs done well and contractors being able to live up to the bid responsibility thing, it'd be good to continue to strive on this. Thanks.
All good points. Thank you.
Barry, just a point of clarification, is this change order relates to the entire BRT corridor, correct? As opposed to concentrated in certain parts of, I guess it's building off of Erica's comment.
Yes, this has costs that are associated with the entire corridor, but there are localized areas where the duct banks for Duquesne Light, for example, were far larger and far more challenging to be able to route around. So every time you find a major conflict, it not only causes a change in the design with relation to the pipe direction, but then you add on all the complexity with being able to support the pipe, to add all the fittings to be able to guide it around the obstructions. So it's throughout the corridor, just to get back to your point, but yeah.
Thank you.
Just a point of clarification, sorry to butt in, but there will be future phases of the BRT where we will have coordination work, Peg. This is just for Fifth and Forbes.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, I misinterpreted that question. Yeah, there are other phases beyond this that will continue.
Good discussion. Any more comments or questions for Barry on this resolution? All right, all those in favor of resolution number 78, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution 78 is approved. Resolution 79, Barry.
Resolution 79 is a request for the board's approval to award operating contracts for the construction of the 2022 urgent water repair contract to Independent Enterprises Incorporated in the amount of $2,147,684, as well as to A. Felino in the amount of $2,169,696.69, as well as a professional services agreement under operating for construction management and inspection services to Hatch Associates Consultants Incorporated in the amount of $720,000. As background, the 2022 urgent water repair contracts are annual indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, as we've said, IDIQ contracts involving the urgent repair, rehabilitation, and replacement of infrastructure within the public water system, which includes our water mains, valves, service connections, hydrants, and related appurtenances at various locations throughout our drinking water service territory. Of positive note, the SDP goals for independent enterprises is 100% VBE, and Hatch Associates Consultants Incorporated is a combined goal of 24.5% MBE, WBE, and SDVBE. Staff recommends the board approve these awards.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve Erica Strasburger.
Thank you, Erica. Is there a second?
Second, BJ.
Thank you. Any discussion? Barry, you went through the numbers for the two contractors and for the inspection. You know, it's obviously very difficult to predict where we're going to need help with urgent water repair. Do we feel that we have a fairly good number based on historical breaks and things that have happened within the system? You know, how does that compare?
So what we have done is we have coordinated with finance where we've made a recommendation for what we see as the historical trend balanced with the affordability of what we're setting this project at. So I think largely this is the number that we can live with, that we think will go forward. And we'll see where we end up in 2022.
Very good. Any other questions or comments for Mr. King on this resolution? All those in favor of resolution 79, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? 79 is approved. Resolution number 80.
Resolution 80 is a request for the board's approval to award multiple operating contracts for the construction of the 2022 urgent sewer repair contract to Independent Enterprises Incorporated in the amount of $4,373,851 and to M. O'Haron Company in the amount of $4,487,400, as well as a professional services agreement for construction management and inspection services to Hatch Associates Consultants Incorporated in the amount of $1,405,000. As background, the 2022 urgent sewer repair is our annual IDIQ contract for the urgent repair, rehabilitation, and replacement of our infrastructure within the public sewer system. That includes our storm, our sewer, and our combined sewer throughout the city of Pittsburgh. Staff recommends that the board approve these awards.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Peg McCormick Barron.
Thank you, Peg. Is there a second?
Second, Mark Thomas.
Thank you, Mark. Any discussion? Very curiously, the sewer contract, the sewer urgent repair is twice as much as the water repair. Usually it's the other way around. I'd love to hear your explanation. Or we're paying more attention to our sewers. What's going on?
It's the focus on the sewer that we're seeing, and there definitely has been an increase in uptick in the sewer repairs that have been done. So we anticipate that this is a valid number for this work.
Okay, very good. Any other questions or comments for Mr. King? All those in favor of resolution number 80, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Resolution number 80 is approved. We move to resolution number 81.
Resolution 81 is a request for the board's approval to award a professional services agreement under capital for construction management and inspection services for the 2023 small diameter sewer rehabilitation contract 1 project to Whitman, Reckart and Associates LLP in the amount of $416,859.71. As background, contract 1 focuses on the rehabilitation of over 36,000 linear feet of sewers ranging from 8 to 30 inches in diameter in the Knoxville neighborhood of the city through the installation of cured in place piping, as well as the associated excavated repairs. Of note, the SDP goal for WRA is a combined goal of over 36% WBE contribution. Staff recommends that the board approve this award.
Very good. May I have a motion?
But Audrey Morel, motion to approve.
Thank you, Audrey. Is there a second?
Second, Erica Strasburger.
Thank you, Erica. Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 81, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 81 is approved. Resolution 82, Barry.
Resolution 82, similar to 81, is a request for the board's approval to award a professional services agreement for construction management and inspection services for the 2023 small diameter sewer rehabilitation contract 2 project to Johnson, Merriam, and Thompson Incorporated, JMT, in the amount of $398,183. As background, contract 2 focuses on the rehabilitation of over 39,000 linear feet of sewers ranging from 8 and 30 inches in diameter in the Homewood neighborhood of the city through the installation of the CIPP lining as well as excavated repairs. Staff recommends the board approve this award.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Mark Thomas.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a second?
Second, Audrey Morel.
Thank you, Audrey. Any discussion?
Do have a question for Barry. How do you determine what's in contract 1 and how do you determine what's in contract 2? Are there different needs of the suppliers, or is it a matter of sort of not putting all of our eggs in one basket?
It's so as part of the design phase services, we do define areas of known failures and deficiencies within the system. And so we find areas, given the extent of the deterioration that is existing in that locale, try to define a project that is within our budgetary means and our contractor's capabilities, and break these into separate contracts during the design phase. So it's not specifically tailored for a given contractor to get a certain project, and same with the consultants, but it is based on the known sewer televising we have done to determine what areas have the highest needs and deficiencies to be addressed, and then signing that work out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments for Barry on this resolution? All those in favor of resolution number 82, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution 82 is approved. Resolution 83.
Resolution 83 is a request for the board's approval to award a professional services agreement under capital for the CMCI services for the contract 3 of the 2023 small diameter sewer rehabilitation to Hatch Associates Consultants Incorporated in the amount of $495,000. As background, contract 3 is focusing on the rehabilitation of 44,000 linear feet of sewers ranging from 6 to 18 inches in the Carrick neighborhood of the city. Of positive note, SDP goal for Hatch is a combined goal of 23.8% for MBE, WBE, and SDVBE. Staff recommends the board approve this award.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Peg McCormick Barron.
Thanks, Peg. Is there a second?
Second, Mark Thomas.
Thank you, Mark. Any discussion? All those in favor of resolution number 83, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Resolution 83 is approved. Resolution 84, Barry, last one for the agenda.
Resolution 84 is a request for the board's approval to enter into a temporary construction easement agreement with AFP 42 and Belmar Gardens for parcel 173-P-216 for the rehabilitation of infrastructure as we have described for contract 2 of the 2020 small diameter sewer rehabilitation contract, as well as authorizing the chief executive officer to enter into this temporary easement agreement with AFP 42 and Belmar Gardens on behalf of PWSA. As background, PWSA is rehabilitating sewers in Homewood and Squirrel Hill neighborhoods as part of our 2020 small diameter sewer rehab. Contract 2 is focusing on installation of cured in place piping and performing excavated pipe repairs to facilitate the liner installations. There's approximately 2,400 linear feet of combined sewer in poor condition that needs to be repaired, that is located within this single private property, parcel 173-P-216, where no existing access agreement or easements exists. This temporary access agreement is at no cost and no payment of compensation is necessary. Staff recommends that the board approves entering into this temporary easement and authorizes the CEO to enter into the agreement on behalf of PWSA.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Mark Thomas.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a second?
Second, Erica Strasberger.
Thanks, Erica. Any discussion?
I have a question for Barry. Temporary, is that, how do you define temporary?
So temporary is specifically associated with that phase of the project where we're actually entering into the property. We're going to be doing any kind of demolition, excavation, installation, and final restoration. So it will be in force and intact through final restoration, and then it would revert back to the property owner.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Barry on this resolution?
What are the various ways we're sort of communicating and interacting with the residents on this, just given the nature of what's been done?
So I know that Public Affairs will be immediately involved in the outreach. As the resolution notes, this is a townhouse apartment of 118 residents. So, or there's 118 townhouses. So yeah, we will be coordinating directly to ensure that they're aware of any impacts as far as when the sewer lining goes through, the odors that may exist. All of those contacts will be made by Public Affairs and our contractor.
Any other questions? Comments? All those in favor of resolution number 84, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, resolution number 84 is approved. Is there any other business that has to come before the board today? Well, I guess I want to first acknowledge that this was the first meeting that we didn't have Jim Turner, and the board stepped up in a big way with a lot of good questions. And I'll have to text him and tell him that despite even a extended early agenda, we're probably going to conclude this meeting in an hour. So I'll have to give him a little grief. The second thing is that I want to wish everyone, our board members, our staff, our participants in the meeting, a happy Memorial Day weekend. I think sometimes we think of these things as just a 3-day holiday, but had a chance this week to reflect a little bit on those that have gone before us and have made our lives what they are today, and also those that have given the ultimate sacrifice so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we have today. So hopefully we'll all give that thought to our loved ones and to the folks who served in the military to provide the way of life that we enjoy here in the United States. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Alderman.
Thank you. All right.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Aye.
Thank you.